Welcome to Co-Play Media, a look inside the world of video games, anime, and the Blerd community. And now, here are your hosts, Diers and Demo.
And welcome to Co-Play Media!
Yes, sir.
COVID Chronicles. And here you got your boy D. You got the man, Demo, here, always with us. Our special guest that we have today here, man. Not only is he a performer, he a producer, he a director, he a professor. We got my man here, K-Murdock.
What up, y'all, man? Thanks for having me on the other side of the show, on the microphone.
B-side.
Yeah. Usually I'm in the back, like giving y'all the wrap it up B motions and
All
laughing
right.
at silliness. But
That was trash, guys. That was trash.
I think a lot of times I have to refrain from jumping in. I don't want to just come out of nowhere like, hold up, like I equated to Mortal Kombat the whoopsies. Like I don't.
Nah, man.
Yeah, it's always a pleasure to have you, man. You always keep it real too. Like if something is whack or something is dope, you're definitely giving the yeah or
That head shake. I know what that head shake means, dog.
So Kyle, man, K-Dot, man. First of all, first question. Well, I don't know what I should ask you first. I ask you, where are you from, or where are you from, man? Where you represent? You know,
I'm the native Washingtonian. I've been here my whole 41 years of life now, and I've lived in either half my life, literally almost like 20 years or 2 decades of my life have been in Northwest Washington, D.C., either as a resident or I was there attending or working at actually where I work now at Howard University. I teach and also run or manage the technology center in the School of Communications. And the other half of my life has pretty much been really, when I say I'm from Silver Spring, Maryland, in Montgomery County.
Yep.
But in the DMV, you know how close this stuff is, man. Like you could
Georgia Avenue, man.
Yes, pretty much. That's the throughway. That's the through line that connects us all. And I actually had a few years too where I spent some time, and I'll never live there in Virginia again. But I lived in Falls Church, Virginia, and I just didn't. I didn't like it, man. No disrespect to my roommate at the time, but I don't know, something about Virginia I wasn't into. So I either am all about like Montgomery County or DC. So
Yeah.
Northern Virginia, by the way, because not all parts of Virginia are created equal.
Correct. Correct.
Yeah.
I just try and stay out of Virginia. I don't think that there's anything for me in Virginia. Not much for me in there. Like.
I mean, Virginia has its perks. I mean, it has nice batting cages and stuff like that. That's why I would drive to Virginia to go to a nice batting cage.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah, if the weather's right, yeah, man. Because it's hard to find batting cages in this area that are nice.
So, Kyle, could you name a life-changing beat that you created?
Life-changing beat.
Like
I'm working on that.
Kyle said, I would, but it hasn't happened yet. I don't think.
There's probably two joints I made that, and not life-changing like I got rich or anything like, but just life-changing as far as like it altered, I guess,
life.
direction or opened me up to other opportunities. And so one was in, like 2003 or 4.
Oh, nice.
I made a beat CD for I was working at XM Radio doing production for the hip hop and jazz channels there, and I had a coworker who was like, he was like, yo, man, I have one of my best friends I grew up with. He raps, and I'm like, oh, heard this before.
Kyle was like, oh, this guy.
Who am I? Yeah. But I mean, like, I've definitely, trust me, especially at Howard University, it was everybody rapped. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, but he was like, yo, I'll introduce you. So he brought the guy in one day, and we hit it off real cool. And the dude was like, this is back in the day when you didn't send people like zip files or Dropbox links to beats. And I remember I tried to I gave him 10 joints, and on the 10th one, I was like, I'm about to give him something so left field that this will let me know like how, like if this dude is willing to be progressive or he just wants like the typical boom bap beats. So I just doing this beat. I think I don't know what I even called it, but it was just out there. It was sampling like some Japanese like soul joint or something, and it was like almost a disco kind of like drum beat, but it was really futuristic and stuff. That was the one joint. So when I gave him a beat CD, I didn't hear from him like for a few days, and then he finally called me or emailed me. And he was like, "Yo, man," he was like, "I like track number 10. That's my." And I was like, "Whoa, like okay, like we can work." And that was my homie Raw Poetic, and that was like the birth of us doing the group I was probably best known for and had a record deal with called Panacea. And
Wow.
yeah, man, we got up recording. We recorded like, man, we've done six albums total, like 5 albums in an EP. But yeah, that beat was the formation of us getting together as Panacea, and because of that, like we got signed to Raucous Records and Sony at the time, and it was really cool. So that linking up with him was like altered my trajectory, because before that I didn't know what I was going to be doing.
Right.
The second track that I can I would say that was kind of life altering was a track I did with another MC, ironically originally from Philadelphia, that goes by the name of Megaran. And we did an album back in 2010 that sampled like video games and immersed hip hop called Forever Famicom. And off of that album, I like started going to like Comic-Con and E3 and PAX, and I got to basically go to places like Japan and the UK and all across the United States, like touring as his DJ, because the album was so successful that people liked seeing me live with him. So that album really changed things too. So again, like, I didn't get rich. I mean, I was able to pay my rent through doing a lot of that stuff. It definitely opened up more possibilities.
Right.
Yeah.
So you were on Raucous Records. Who was on that back in the day?
So when I was on Raucous, it was like what they call the second generation of Raucous. So the three main acts was me, well, my group Panacea, and me and Raw Poetic is Panacea. There was a group called Kids in the Hall. The last group was from Colorado called the Percussions, and it's crazy. The guy who did one of the members who rapped and did the beats in the group, his name is Stro. He's now part of the Roots. So if you ever see on Jimmy Fallon at night, there's a guy on stage who's like doing like live beat making with like a kind of like an NPC. That's Stro. He's super dope, man. So yeah, like those dudes. So us three were like the new era of Raucous Records. That was like, we got signed in 2006, and we were on the label until 2009. Yeah.
Nice.
That's amazing, man. And how did you like working with Megaran? Like, I remember seeing the 2 videos that you guys did, and I thought those 2 songs were actually pretty good. Actually, more impressive than anything, I thought I Manga Nation was an awesome album.
Man. Thanks, man. Appreciate that. It's funny because a lot of people ask me like, will I ever do another one? And I'm like, well, it would have to be free, because obviously I was just taking samples without clearing them.
Right. Yeah. Hey, but they were vicious samples. Like, they were awesome samples.
And it was really all my those are real animes that I like too. Like, you can, if you listen to it, you'll hear a lot of Samurai Champloo, you'll hear a lot of Cowboy Bebop, and then there was some really I guess like there was some Naruto in there. That was like right when I started watching it.
That was my favorite song, actually. Legend of
it's called the Hokage. Like, yeah, because he's like, I'm gonna be the greatest Hokage, me, a warrior, believe it. Like the typical
believe it.
Yeah. And then there was some like stuff I like watched put on there that was like from movies that I just really liked. Not series, but one of them was called Tekken Kincrete or something. I remember it was a really weird movie, and it had a really great score. And I used it for, I think there was these It's 3 beats called Treasure Cats Part 1 through 3, and like they all had clips of like that movie in there. So anyway, but thanks, man. Appreciate it. No one ever talks about that album, by the way.
Yo, so question, like, so I've been in the studio with the producer, right? Like, he made beats, and you guys will have so many beats. It's like, even though I would rap or something, I could never sit down and I can't imagine myself making a beat. How is that process?
Um, it for me, I'm not one of those dudes who like, like you see those real braggadocious dudes that like, yo, I just banged out 10 joints today, like it
Yeah,
was
two beats a
nothing.
summer. Yeah, two beats a day.
Yo. I mean, my average has slowed down so much from just having kids and being married, and not to say that like stop my productivity, but just other
Right.
things have happened in my life. But ironically, since we've all been in the house for COVID, I probably made more beats just in the first 4 months of this year than I did in the last year
Wow.
combined.
That's crazy.
Yeah, the process for me is always starts with some kind of sample or just sound, and then I just
Hmm.
build off of it. Where some people start with drums and then they lay stuff over it, I usually start with some
Uh-huh.
kind of melody or chord, and then I just start building around it. And I'm real big about fusing like samples with like played digital instrumentation. So I
Oh,
like a
okay.
lot of synthetic sounds and stuff, synths and stuff, just to have like the melding of or like coming together those two, the analog and the digital world. But
Yeah.
yeah, my process is pretty slow. Like I started working on a joint, I guess this morning that hopefully I'll finish by tomorrow, and that's fast for me because I have some days it'll take me like days to knock out one joint, but
Yeah.
I'm real particular.
Have you guys ever heard of The Cave?
The Cave, what is that?
Have you ever heard of a producer named Kenny Beats?
Yeah.
Yes.
I've heard
Oh,
of Kenny
yeah,
Beats.
yeah.
So Kenny Beats, he does The Cave, right, where he will invite somebody over to his
Yo,
studio,
yo,
and he
is
will
that the
freestyle on the
guy?
beat. And you know the Zach Fox joint, Zach Fox
Yes, Zach
joint.
Fox.
Jesus is the one. That joint. Oh man,
Yeah, yeah, that's one of my favorite. That whole
I
joint
love
sounds
that
like a
song.
freestyle, dog.
It is a freestyle, and like he freestyles the beat while the person freestyles the freestyle, and then they go and they do it, and it's like a 20-minute thing of them showing up, talking. They
Oh,
show
wow.
him K beats like because he's like overlaying the beats, and they show him like trying to figure it out, and they show the dude like right before a second, and then they just go right into it.
Yo, I gotta check that out.
Yo, you
Oh,
gotta check out the one he did with Zach Fox.
oh, the one
Okay.
he did with Zach Fox was like an instant, like that joint was like an instant hit. Like that
It's
joint was like
the song is so ridiculous that it's good.
so random, so random that it
The
just it,
song,
and it just falls into place. You know what I'm
the
saying? Like
beat, it's a nice beat, but the rap that's on the beat is so, I can't even say that it's a bad rap because he clearly had fun doing it. You
Right.
know, you want to
yeah,
have
yeah,
fun doing whatever you're doing.
yeah.
But it was so bad that I feel like I have this theory where something can be so bad that it starts to become good again. Like there's a spectrum. Like you can go so far left. It's a Pac-Man theory. It's like you go off the screen and come through the other side, which is the good side. So I feel like that's what that whole song was.
Hmm.
Because
I mean,
Zach Fox was saying some ridiculous stuff, but I found
yeah.
myself listening to the whole song, bobbing my head, and I'm like, wow, he kind of spitting. I can't lie.
So it's called Kenny Beats in the Cave, and I want to see the one with Zach Fox.
Yep.
Yes,
Okay.
that
Check it out.
specific one is very important. I
It's
feel like
very
that one, like, put them in a different stratosphere, both
Okay.
of them. And I think Zach
yeah.
Fox is like a comedian by trade or something like that.
Yeah, he's like a comedian and a rapper. It was just really interesting. But speaking of comedians and rappers, like you've been a performer, you've been producing, directing, all that stuff. Which do you like more? Do you after all this time do you look back and say like, man, teaching is the one and only thing that I love doing, and that's the best thing out of everything? or is it like making a fat beat? You know what I'm saying? Somebody rapping viciously over it.
Fat beat.
A fat beat. I would say, I think, especially being that I wasn't able to do it as much the last few years, like I really realized that I guess if I had to pick one, because I feel like I'm kind of like a audio utility knife. Like I know how to do a lot of things, and I know how to edit, record, produce, mix, engineer, whatever. Like,
Mhm.
but the thing I like the most about audio and creating it is like creating a beat, because it's like the whole, I can do whatever I want. You know what I'm saying? I can include any kind of sounds, whether it be off a record, whether it be sampling something from outside. I like adding like sound effects and sound design to my beats. I think that's one way I've been able to stand out. But yeah, that's like my favorite thing. Now the teaching thing has been awesome, because I feel like and for me, I'm taking it so seriously that I decided to go back 20 years removed from graduating undergrad and get my master's degree, because for me to want to teach full time, and which is the plan as like a full professor and be tenured somewhere, ideally at an HBCU. Specifically, I would love to be at my alma mater at Howard University if the situation arises where I can stay in that capacity. But it feeds what I'm doing, because one of the things they want you to do, particularly if you get tenured as a professor, is they want you to have research and be working on that. So for me, my research is like I'm creating other things, so it feeds it. And like I'm forced, because I'm teaching the next wave and next generation of people, I'm forced to kind of stay with my finger on the pulse of technology and what's going on. So I feel like it's like very it feeds one another. It's what's the word I'm looking for? It's like a lot of give and take, a lot of reciprocity in itself,
Like,
with that.
it's
You know,
symbiotic almost.
symbiotic.
Hey, baby, I went to a HBCU too. Come on
That's
now.
what's up,
We
man.
all.
Yeah. We talk. We talk about.
We read books.
While we dance.
Yeah. No, I think it's amazing, man, that you are like a professor somewhere doing music. Like I feel like you living a dream right now,
Yes.
to
I
be
am.
honest.
I am. This. I mean, when I started, I didn't know what the hell I wanted to do. And actually, it's funny. One of my professors, when I came back to Howard, she was getting ready to retire, and she was like, "I don't know if you remember, but when I was teaching your practicum class, which is like the class I had to take concurrently with like my big I guess like internship before I left
Mm-hmm.
college." And so we would just meet and kind of talk about how to be like a professional and stuff like that. And
Right.
one of the things this professor had us do was we had to write down our 1 year, I think 5 year and 10 year goals. And I think my 10 year goal was to return to Howard as a professor. And
Wow.
obviously it took a little bit longer. It took closer to like 15, to be honest with you. But still, like she remembered. She was like, "I don't think you remember this, but
That's crazy.
so and I feel like I don't know, like I'm not one of those dudes who's like trying to be hip, like, hey, what's the hot like we're listening to? Like
What's the hotness, guys?
the students know, I try to I try to engage, and just at the same time I'm like, I'm into hip hop, a lot of y'all are into hip hop. It might not be the same hip hop, but what's the common ground? What's
Right.
some commonality? So
Right.
yeah, man, I live a charmed life, so I'm very blessed. I work hard, but I'm definitely very blessed. So
Yeah. I mean, if you're doing what you love, man, it's hard to make it feel like work. You know what
yep,
I'm saying?
yep.
I think
Until
that.
when it does feel like work, that's when I'm not gonna do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think a lot of artists, I feel like a lot of artists and producers and people in the industry don't get out when that starts to happen, and you can kind of tell in the music. Like I use Lupe Fiasco all the time. Like my man is a legit samurai now,
Yeah, no, seriously, yeah.
because there was one point in his career where he put out that album Lasers, and I was like, oh no. I was like, oh, this is like,
Lasers slash losers. Yeah, like
yeah. I was like, this is not a Lupe Fiasco album at all. Like you could tell, like he
yeah,
was just doing something to satisfy whoever was writing his checks. Because it was
Yeah.
so far off. It was like I can't even enjoy it. Like it doesn't even feel like Lupe enjoyed making this album. I can't
nah,
imagine that he did. But
nope.
you
Probably
know,
not.
I think there's a fine line there where once you start, and even Dave Chappelle, like once it starts feeling like you're working, but you thought it was your like your dream job, then you got to get out because then you'll start, I think, resenting and all that good stuff.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
I'm waiting on my Dave Chappelle money, but
I know. I know. It's you and me both.
honestly, I don't think I'll ever have like a windfall like that of money. But what I am blessed enough to have is like consistent work, and for that,
Right.
I'm very thankful, especially now because really,
Oh,
like, I'm not really affected as much as some other people.
Hmm.
Um, I'm able to basically work from home, and it's cool. And it's crazy as it's been trying to keep up with like because I teach, I have a full time job, I have a bunch of freelance and just other things I do, and I'm obviously have to stay on top of. I have two young daughters. I have a 5 and a 3-year-old, and my wife is a
Oh,
teacher.
oh,
So
oh
yeah,
man.
it's been interesting. Uh, it's been interesting. So
Yeah, you want any more kids, Kyle? You
no,
want any more?
I am
All
good.
right, man.
People
I
always
got
ask
oh.
me, "You sure you don't want to have a third one?" I'm like,
see,
"Nope."
I got three boys, man. I'm three boys in right now. 10, 6, and the last one will be 5 in May.
Right.
And it's like, oh my gosh, everything is like Sparta in here.
A lot of
Everything's a
collateral damage.
competition, a lot of collateral damage, man.
Yo, could you tell me about the performances that you did? I remember in the past you did stuff at BlerdCon.
Oh
I
yeah,
remember
yeah.
you did stuff at the Library of Congress. Was
Uh,
there a performance that you guys did or somebody that you did it with that made it more special or an event that really comes to your mind when you really think about it? Like, is there something that an event that was like either like, like we made it, or this is just really dope to do this, or this is really just dope to do it with this guy right here. Like this is just super.
This I mean, I've I don't I've done so many that I can't even get. No, but like one of those just like a straight douche. Oh, dearest, I've done so many. How can I pick one, my friend? One that stands out to me was that okay, I can say like going overseas to perform and like it's one thing to go and travel overseas and like but
Yeah.
it's another thing to travel overseas because of something you do like music bringing you overseas like people
That's crazy.
book and pays you. So um we got to perform at the London Anime Festival, and I'm like, how
Wow.
random is that? Like that our music was heard enough where they felt like spending some money to bring us over
Wow.
to literally to London. And it was great because while I was there, I was able to link up with a bunch of friends. People I met in chat rooms and forums, who are
Oh,
just
nice.
also just homies, like who I literally have built rapport with for like over at that point for like 3 or 4 years. So, but yeah, I didn't perform at the Library of Congress thing. I was there in support of my homie IQ, who was there with Substantial, Shingo 2, and
My
Marcus T.
guy. My guy Shingo too, man. Love that dude.
They were doing the Bites and Beats event to celebrate the 25-year, which is just crazy, or 15 year, excuse me, it ain't been that old, but the 15-year anniversary of Samurai Champloo.
Hmm.
So I probably looked like I was performing because IQ had me like running around recording it, like walking around with his camera on a gimbal.
Nice.
Um,
Yeah.
and it was I mean it was really cool. Like they had a good turnout, and just the fact that they're performing songs from Samurai Champloo literally in the outside of the Library of Congress, like a federal government building.
All right.
But yeah, I've done shows at like E3 and PAX, the Penny Arcade Expo. They have a big one in
Whoa.
Seattle and a big one in Boston every year. And we talking about performing in front of a crowd of like maybe 5,000 plus, and that was like surreal to walk out on stage.
Yeah.
I performed one of the coolest experiences. We got to perform at the 2014 Halo World Championships. Like we got to
Oh.
like Microsoft paid us to make a song and we got to perform it. And then they had the voice of Cortana introduce us. So she was like, getting ready to drop a beacon. Coming to the stage is Mega Ran and K-Murdock. And you can look at this
Yeah.
online and everything. If you search for Mega Ran K-Murdock Halo Championships, it pops up and like you'll see us walk out like singing the song. And it was like super surreal, man.
Yo,
That's
Kyle, you're
awesome,
like
man.
more
Kyle knows
legit than you
everybody.
put on, bruh.
Thanks. Look, one of my students said this to me. He was like, Professor Murdoch, no offense, but you're mad. Like, you're probably too humble. He was like, you
Yeah.
really cool stuff. And he was like, you really need to like get your swag right, or like step up and brag a little bit more. And I was like, yeah, it's not really my thing. And I feel like the music stuff for me just seems like another lifetime ago, even though I'm still doing it. But most
Yeah.
of the stuff that was out, like that was like on the major label. I mean, that was literally over 10 years ago. It was 2009 is when our contract ended. So I've been
I
in.
don't know, man. I mean, Kanye and them like 40 something still doing it. You still got some the stuff you're telling me right now, like Shingo 2 and Halo, like you E3? I've
Yeah,
never been to E3, and I first went to BlerdCon. What was that? Last summer, D.
Yeah.
I mean, in that community, I'm pretty sure you could be like, top of the food chain, man.
I've been at every BlerdCon. I've either participated as a panelist, like a featured panelist, or not last year, but the year before. I got to
Hmm.
perform with Asheru, who's probably most known for doing the Boondocks intro, as well as Substantial.
What?
Yeah,
Come on, come on, man.
Kyle knows everybody, man. Kyle knows everybody, bro.
Oh my gosh, man. We gonna have to market Kyle for himself. I feel like Kyle Kyle could be doing this music score for this next Boondock season that's coming out. You know what I'm saying? But listen, Kyle, clearly from this interview, from what I can tell, you have a lot of juice. All right. You know a
Yeah.
lot of people. You've rubbed shoulders with some very big names that I consider big names, especially Shingo too. I love that guy. That whole Lovesick
but oh yeah,
anthology of songs. Yeah, that's my favorite.
yeah,
Yeah.
yep, yeah. He's a cool cat, man.
I think you should definitely stay in the music. I can't wait. Do you have any with COVID and everything going on, has that affected your career in music outside of DC radio? Like, has that impacted like your performances and stuff? I know
Yeah,
Blerd
yeah,
kind of got
yeah.
knocked
No,
out.
I'm glad you asked that. It's funny we were talking about BlurCon. So at BlurCon, I just got the email from them about that the panel I had pitched, another panel. This time I was going to interview a good friend of mine who's going to actually fly in from LA. He's one of the only brothers working at the company Mattel, makes the toys. And he's actually he's a high ranking like a senior toy something, but he basically for the company in the top 5 selling things as far as like 2000, I think 19, he did 3 of them. He designed 3 of the toys.
Oh
So
my God.
his name is Troy Patterson. So I was gonna interview him at BlurCon. Like he was gonna fly over. And it's funny how we met because he was a big fan of my music. So when I was on tour in 2011, I met him at LA, and we've been homies ever since. But yeah, I got the email from them saying BlurCon, you like supposedly is happening because it's mid-July, but honestly, I'd be
Mhm.
shocked if it does because
Yeah.
I know some states are rushing back, which is a whole nother thing. But if they go by the phase thing of like
Yeah.
you can have 50 people, then it expands to 500. That still won't even like for a
Right.
con
That's
Yeah.
happen.
nowhere
So
near what they need.
so at this point, it looks like I'll have to wait till top of 2021 and hopefully MacFest, which is huge, will happen. So
Yeah.
that's like I think at least 30,000 people over the course.
What?
Yeah. You never MacFest, music and gaming
Yeah.
festival.
Yeah. I've never been to
He's
MagFest,
never
but you
been.
said
Yeah, you've never been.
Yeah, man.
30,000 over the weekend.
Yeah, and
Yeah, which is a
we've
decent
been
size.
going since 2013 when the head count for the weekend was like it's always at the Gaylord. It used to
Wow.
be I think 9,000 and now it's like tripled that. So
Damn.
yeah,
Wow.
it's big, man.
It's
It's really
amazing.
big. You gonna ask me about some anime or game hot takes before you know?
Before we just make this entire
Okay,
show about you, I don't know, Kyle. We could make an entire show about you, bro.
Yeah, I know.
like this is what we wanted to get to before Kyle started dropping all these like random facts.
I know, right? It was like, oh man, Kyle's like actually an A-list celebrity, and we didn't even, we didn't even know.
You know, I just try to stay humble, man. You never know
Nah.
because as much as like I've had moments where I'm like, yo, I'm gonna walk in and they better recognize and know me, and then like you're quickly humble when like someone's like, who the f are you or something. So I had a little when I was younger. Why
Oh man.
now I'm just like I'm more. It's just I'm more shocked, and it's always nice when I run into people and they're like, yo, you're K-Murdock from Panacea, or you're K-Murdock who worked with Megaran or something. Like, I'm like, yeah. It's like, but I'm also like, yo, I'm also K-Murdock who's a husband and a father too. I'm a teacher, you know what I
Come
mean?
on.
I just do a lot of
Just a
stuff.
regular guy.
Just a regular guy. And then I just
Just
fly off into the air.
I'm just Kyle. And then float off.
Just Kyle,
Honestly,
man.
that would be funny to be
Kyle,
walking down the street and just like see somebody shake hands and then like point to the sky and take off like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
just dap you up. All
Crazy.
right, Kyle. All right, man. Just take it easy.
Oh man.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Good stuff.
All right. Let's try it. So I came up with this idea. It's a funny idea. I don't know if we're gonna keep it. It's called animation relation,
Gotcha.
in which we compare anime to a combination of television shows or other pop culture that's going on. That pretty much, if you were into this stuff right here, then you will like this anime show right here, and you should probably
Hmm.
want to check it.
Okay. I'm game.
Let's
Okay.
try it. Let's try it out.
So the first one that I got right here is called Copcraft, which is basically Law and Order SVU.
Like if you're
Uh,
into that.
yeah, if you like that show, like you guys ever watch Law and Order, you know what I'm
Oh
saying?
yeah,
Especially
come on. Yeah, that joint's been on for like
Yeah.
decades.
so they got like a magic version of it of like a real actual good cop who's paired together with like a yandere little elf sister,
Mm.
but she's got like really good sword skills because that's all she's practiced with, but she is like completely unfamiliar with the regular world and common sense.
Oh
But as
wow.
far as magic and she's on it, and as far as the dynamics of their partnership, she's just everything up. You know what I'm saying? Just over and over and over, crashing the car. You know what I'm saying? Explosions and stuff is all her fault. She's always
What
getting
is
into
the name
trouble.
of this anime?
It's called Cop Craft.
Oh, it is literally called. Okay, got you. Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And it's I be watching television all day now.
Fair
Just
enough.
been clicking on stuff.
Just yeah, pretty much. Um, I got another one for you. It's pretty much Romeo and Juliet meets hyper violent X-Men, you know,
Okay.
and it's called Basilisk.
Oh, that's
And
my
Oh, Basilisk is the
every house had like what was it, like 8 people or something, and each one had like a counter the other one, and then
Yeah.
the couple winds up having like, well, she had like amazing, like her eyesight or something. She could do something. I haven't watched this joint in like 10 years, obviously, but I still have the DVDs.
And it's like what, like her eyes, like because both of the main characters, like the heads of the family, all both
They're
of their
secretly
abilities were like,
right,
yeah, and like one like negates everything, and the other one like instant kills or something.
right.
Hmm.
And it's just they have a great love dynamic and relationship thing going on. It was violent and it was a crash show, but I loved it, man.
No,
Like I
the animation was great, and like
Yeah.
I like stories where you just get into it, and I want to see some crazy fights. That's why I really like not to get off topic, but what is it, King and Ashura? That show is my
Oh
man.
yeah, yeah,
oh
yeah.
yeah
God,
with the
man.
fighting and everything.
Oh my God, that
That
show is amazing. Like the
that
animation, it takes some
yeah,
time to get used to the cell shaded kind of style,
right.
but it's amazing.
But the cell shading works well with that show because of what they're doing. Like the fighting and stuff, I think the cell shading actually enhanced
Right,
like the punches and stuff. I felt like the
Yeah,
punches and everything were heavier because of
right.
the cell shading. Like it actually felt like, man, he just broke that guy's ribs
Oh, you
with
get,
that
yeah.
punch. Yeah,
They
like you
did
could.
those like Mortal Kombat X-ray joints, like where you
Hmm.
just
yeah. We be like seeing the punch, and it's like
Yeah, I don't think that would have worked as well with regular animation. So the cell shading worked well for King and Ashura,
right,
I think.
right.
I like the cell shading. I think the cell shading is really good. Uh, I think the art style is amazing. They kind of bit off of Baki the Grappler a little bit.
Yes, yeah, yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
yes.
With the same kind
They
of
were a little more obvious. Baki
Right,
wasn't as obvious. Like you could tell it was a different type of anime. Like it wasn't classic anime,
right.
but with Baki, it still looked like it could have been hand drawn. Whereas King and Ashura, it did kind of look like a Tekken video game.
Yes,
yeah,
that's
yeah,
exactly. I mean, like the whole blood sport or something.
Yeah,
yeah,
Some of those
yeah.
matches were insane, man.
yeah. It was that whole thing was crazy,
It's
Yeah, I hope
crazy.
violent.
it gets greenlit for part 3 because I'm probably looking forward to that more than I am Baki because
Yeah,
Baki I like it, but the plot is
there is no plot.
there's no plot.
There's no plot.
Plot weak as hell.
Not anymore, anyway. Apparently, the older version was a little better, but I
Okay,
didn't see the
you
old
already
version.
wasn't hit me to it.
Yeah, I didn't even see the old version though. I was
You
hip
guys didn't see the old
at
version,
Netflix.
Nah,
dude?
I just watched the Netflix one and that's it.
Old version, like the old '90s version when Baki was like 13 and
Yeah,
he was
see,
getting trained by the army and stuff. Like,
yeah, see,
and the way,
we
dude, the
done
way,
missed the first half. Yeah, because
dude.
when I saw it on Netflix, I wasn't even aware that there was an older version of it until I went on YouTube and searched it.
It's worth watching. Like it's worth watching, going back and watching the old version, just
Hmm.
because like the way that Baki developed as a character, there was a lot more story in it. Like they go into
Okay,
why he's fighting, his family's involved. It's a lot more of a story and a reason
okay,
why and how he develops. And his dad beats the brakes off him. Like
yeah,
holy shit!
straight
Like
parental abuse. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. But I digress. I digress. So uh, another one that I got. Another one. Have you guys ever heard of Psychopath?
Yes,
No.
I've heard of it.
So
Yes.
so Psychopath. If I was to describe it, it's the show Blue Bloods meets the show Devs. If that makes it, like, I doubt anyone who has seen Blue Bloods has ever seen the show Devs. Have you guys seen the show Devs?
I've not
No.
seen Dibs. I've watched Blue Bloods though.
Yeah, so pretty much imagine Blue Bloods, but it's super futuristic. You know what I'm saying? And pretty much Like, you know how everybody is kind of in the family, but they're in a different part or they do something else, you know what I'm saying? But they're all in
Mm,
police.
mm-hmm.
So pretty much it's like there's these, it's the future and they have detectives, but because of the world that they live in, society or technology has gotten so advanced that people are read by their crimes on what they call a psychopath. So
Oh,
computers and shit is always monitoring you all the time to tell if you are going to commit a crime. And so before you commit a crime, it's kind of like Minority
yeah, I'm
Report.
about to say it's like Minority Report.
It'll be like this guy right here is going to commit a
Future
crime.
crimes, the Future Crimes Department.
Take him out, like take him out. And so they have like a crime court.
Do they just have like every black person is just like, yo, I think this.
Yo, this nigga's out of control. Look at him.
Come on, Kyle. Come on, man. They got all the black people,
Hey,
man. There
yo, it
ain't no,
gotta be some profiling going on in this.
there are no black people in psychopaths, man.
Oh, really?
Jokes on us.
See, but
It
that's
would
the
all be
problem with
angry.
anime, man. Not enough black representation. All
I do
right,
agree.
it's
I do
not
agree with that.
enough.
There shouldn't be, there should be more, but I mean I think there will be more, and there's more on the horizon. Like there's definitely a lot. Um, as far as like a more colored, I hate the way I said that right.
More
Color,
color.
More
more color.
color. I felt instantly old as soon as I said that. It's like, oh no, no, no. But more diverse, a
Okay.
more racially diverse show, which I love. I still love. I always talk about it. Carol and Tuesday.
Oh, that's my show.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and Carol and Tuesday is really like Empire meets a futuristic America's Got Talent.
Okay.
Oh
Wow.
snap.
That's an interesting little like connection or
Yeah, yeah,
relation.
yeah. Pretty much, if you like any kind of shows that are musicals that involve love and drama and that kind of thing,
Or like
you're
a
always
Glee, like a Glee or something like
But it
that.
also has like, and I didn't expect this later, like the real heavy political overtones, like, immigration. And I mean, the whole juxtaposition of like people on Mars versus Earth. Like, it's
Oh
interesting.
yeah, yeah, yeah. When Denzel Curry came into the picture.
He was, what was his name? He was the rapper.
Yeah, yeah,
was it
yeah.
Ezekiel or something like that?
Ezekiel.
Ezekiel,
Ezekiel
Yeah.
Ezekiel. Yep.
Thundercat was on there. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's
Thundercat.
my guy, man. I love Thundercat.
Dude, man.
Man, so many people.
Did
Would
y'all
you
hear
guys
his
be
new
interested
song,
in doing something like
the
that?
Dragon Ball Durag?
Well, of course. Of course, instant classic, bruh. As soon as I heard that song, I went on Amazon to try and look for do rag, like a DBZ. You know what I'm saying? I was like, yo, they gotta be selling them by now. They gotta be selling them.
I know. I mean, but he did find it in the trash, which I was reading too much into the video. I was like, what does that mean? Is he saying Dragon Ball Z is trash? Like, what is he like?
Well,
He's
you know,
really into that stuff, man. I mean, he's a
Yeah,
he's a I mean, dare I say an otaku? Like he's into that stuff.
no, I love Thundercat, man. That's my guy. That's my
Yeah.
guy.
what's it called? That album he did, Drunken.
Oh,
Yeah, drunk,
drunk. That was the
which
name of
was
it.
which was actually a pretty good album.
It's a
Yeah.
really good album.
It wasn't
He's
bad.
he's dope.
With that being said, how do you guys feel about me giving Springer, like, you guys watch Jerry Springer and he always got like the crazy outro
Oh
saying,
my
you know what
god.
I'm saying? And then he's always like, take care of each other, you
Yeah,
know what I'm
yeah. What
saying?
about it?
So how would you guys feel if I did like outro quotes? You know what I'm saying? Like I heard one of the quotes from your album, Kyle, and I was like, you know what? Bleach said some real shit right there. Like that's
Oh yeah,
some
I think that would be pretty apropos because co-play with y'all doing anime and video games. So yeah, it'd be pretty cool if you actually quoted a game or anime.
Oh
That would
yeah.
be cooler.
okay, okay. So we're gonna start going out with that. You know what I'm saying? Like I get do the outro quote. Well, we do the shameless plug, then the outro quote, and then the we are out of here. And pretty much what I got this time is live well, grow old well, grow bald well, and then die long after I've died.
Oh, yeah, that's what his Ichigo's dad said, right?
Yeah.
Yo, we got to do some tsunami quotes at the end. They had some like legit stuff.
I'm down.
Yeah.
Yeah, Joe, knowing is half the battle joints or something.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Them head scratchers. Having the head scratchers for him.
Yeah, like what? Okay.
Get on here. People die when they're killed.
Nah, we'll definitely reconvene, man. I appreciate you all having. It's funny because I kind of said it in jest when I was talking to you, offline, Drs. That's like, yeah, like if you ever need me to come on, if you can't find anyone else, and you're like, yeah, I'd love for you to come on. I was like, oh, okay.
Like, hell yeah, come on, man.
And it's been cool. I mean, because that was part of the reason why I'll say this before we wrap up is that when Max told me that you all had approached him or you all on his radar,
Mhm.
I was like, yo, like I want to do this show. This is like totally the stuff I'm into. So I think it would be cool, like, for the most part, like if you had someone who's also passionate about this stuff, who's like involved as far as the production, I think.
Right.
So it's like, yeah, it's probably one of the rare shows that you at least have both of us like kind of involved as far as the production, which is nice, So
yeah,
Nah, man, and even going forward, like I love the idea when like we're in studio and we like kind of interacting with you. I think that's dope. I like stuff like that.
I do
You know
too.
what I'm saying?
yeah, nah, it's cool, man. I've enjoyed like being able to just help you all out, or even just like knowing I could help bring some guests in and stuff, because you all do a good job of like, just like I don't think the guests are like left like, yo, these dudes don't know what they're talking about. If anything, I feel like I wish the show sometimes was longer or broken up because we just have to do it. A lot of times I feel bad when I'm like, gotta wrap it up.
Yeah.
Nah, I love it, man. Because if you didn't say that, I would just keep going as long as you would let me go, man. Like I would just keep doing
I know.
it.
Start going into the next show, like and for our next guest.
No, we'll table this and then when we reconvene, we'll have to pick up with what we've all been playing. During this these Corona
All right.
chronicle break or whatever you want to call it. It's like
Yeah, I
like
Groundhog's
that.
Day, really. So
Cool.
Yeah, we can talk
Yep.
about everything, man. I'll definitely add more to the script or whatever, and we can add more to another hour.
cool, man. Well,
I refuse to do it, man. I refuse to do it.
Look, Kyle just about to hang up.
All right, man. Nah. But this is Coldplay Media, and we are out of here.
You've been listening to Co-Play Media with hosts Diers and Demo. For more information on Co-Play Media and the Blerd community, visit coplaymedia.com or the Co-Play Media page at dc.radio.gov.
If I were ever to blame you for having caused your mother's death, she'd never forgive me. It's no one's fault that she died. Sometimes in life, bad things just happen, and she knew that. She was the woman I loved.
Wow, Dad.
Be strong, Ichigo. Live well, grow old well, grow bald well, and then die long after I've died.
What was that for?
Can't have you going soft on me, boy. Try to shake off that gloom and depression, son. You're way too young to carry around such a heavy burden.
and tears.